August Bach and Anna Luisa are on their way home from Frenzel's.
Oh no, August, it's your cousin. Let's pretend we haven't seen him.
What?
Oh no, he's seen us.
Good afternoon, Joe.
I've just been round to the house, but you weren't in.
You know Anna Louisa?
Yes. Afternoon, Fraulein.
What's the matter? You look like you've swallowed something sour, cousin. You've been eating your own pickles.
Ah, very funny. My pickles are well liked in this town.
Well, what do you want to see me about?
I wanted a word in private.
Anna and I have no secrets.
No, it can wait. Well,
No, wait, Gerd, wait. I want you to be the first to know. I've asked Anna to marry me, and she said yes.
Oh.
Aren't you going to congratulate us?
Yes, of course. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I must get back to the shop. It's Saturday, and I'm short-staffed. Frau Kirsten is ill.
He doesn't like me.
Nonsense. Gerd likes everyone.
Not young women, he doesn't. He's got nothing but old bats working in that grocer's of his.
Sam sits behind a repair hangar at Whalley Fen with a WAF corporal from Safety and Rescue Section. Known on the base as WAF Corporal Taylor, she and Sam were secretly married 6 months before.
He's poaching another 2 of my crew.
What?
Last month he took my flight engineer, Mickey Murphy. Now it's Cohen, the new navigator, and Digby, best bomb aimer on the squadron.
Can he do that?
He's bloody done it.
Why don't you go to Monroe and complain?
What'll I say? My flight commander won't get off my back. He'll deny everything.
I still think it's worth it.
I only have a couple of minutes. Let's talk about something else. Why don't we go up to London next weekend, eh?
Oh, why not?
I wish we could just go over to that hole in the fence and walk away from here.
Where would we go?
Wouldn't care. Just as long as it's as far away from here as possible.
Oh, Sam.
We can't, of course. There's a war to win. I'll just do what they all do. Press on.
Sam, don't jump down my throat. But why don't you put in for a commission like Daddy said?
We went through this last weekend.
I know.
I don't want to be a bloody officer.
The only way you can stop people like Terry Sweet from having the upper hand is by becoming one of them.
If you wanted a Terry Sweet for a husband, you should have married him.
Sorry?
It's not as though you didn't have the chance.
What?
I know, Ruth, about you and him.
No, what?
You and him.
What are you talking
Ruth,
about?
please, don't lie to me. You knew him before me. You did, didn't you?
What do you mean, know him?
And then that would have suited Mummy and Daddy better, wouldn't it? Public school boy, officer class.
Oh, stop it, Sam. Look, I haven't a clue what's brought
He's
this
an old
on.
boyfriend, isn't he? Flight Lieutenant Sweet.
Rubbish!
Don't lie to me, Ruth. You went out with him, didn't you? Your mother told me the whole story last weekend. She thought it was a joke.
Oh,
We remember Terry Sweet all right. What a charming boy. Very struck on Ruth he was. What a coincidence. He's on your squadron.
he went to school with my brother.
Of course he bloody would, wouldn't he? Well, let's see the rest of it.
He was nothing to me. It was nothing like that.
Well, he's something to me. Flight Lieutenant Sweet, 7 years younger than me, and treats me like I'm a 13-year-old, and he's my effing prefect.
He's a chump. Always was. Don't let's quarrel, please,
Why
Sam.
didn't you tell me? That's what all the smirking and asking after you is about. I've got to go. Pilots and navigators briefing.
Sam! Oh.
Quickly, August, we're getting soaked!
It was a little town with a lot of people of government, and there was from the German army, there was division, and the commander of the division was an uncle of mine.
Oberleutnant, a word!
Yes?
Is there an SS headquarters in this town?
Yes, at the Val Hotel.
Well, how do I get there?
You follow this road till you come to the old walls and turn right onto Kaiserstrasse. You'll see trees by the road. It's just after the trees begin. You'll see it on the left. Have you come far?
Did you get that, driver?
Yes, there are black and white sentry boxes. You can't miss it.
One hotel.
That's it. Only my son is in the Waffen SS. He's on the Eastern Front with Army
Drive
Group
on.
South. Some of these people are so unmannered. What is it?
I don't know, he frightened me.
That's the whole idea of the SS.
– 70 miles away in Holland, the officers' mess at Night Fighter Station Krunsby.
Oberleutnant Lowenthal.
Corporal Blessing. What on earth are you doing in here,
Would
man?
you come with me, Oberleitner?
Not just at the moment, Blessing. By the way,
I'm afraid I have to insist.
I beg your pardon.
My identity papers.
Reich Central Security. I thought you were in charge of the foreign cleaners, Blessing.
So do all these officers in here. Now, I must insist you come quiet.
What is all this about?
A matter of espionage.
Did I please you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You're so beautiful, so soft, so firm.
Oh, don't go. Oh, I never knew such pleasure.
I should get dressed. The car's waiting.
Oh, not yet. Hold me.
I love you, Anna, but I have to get dressed. What is it?
I've seen this room so many times, cleaning and polishing it, but I've never seen this view before.
You'll see it often from now on, I promise you.
Oh, your metal scratched my shoulder.
I'm sorry. Let me kiss it better.
I shall look at this little mark tonight and think of you.
I should have taken it off.
It's the Blue Max, isn't it?
Yep.
You got it for shooting down 11 British aircraft in the last war.
How do you know?
Paul told me.
He shouldn't have been boasting.
He wasn't boasting, I asked him.
I had hoped to hear from him before I left. When I write, I would like to tell him of our plans.
Oh no, don't tell him yet.
Why not?
He might not approve.
You and he get on well enough, don't you?
Did he say that?
Don't you like him?
He's your son, of course I like him.
That SS man in the street just now. He'd come from the Russian front. His driver was an Asiatic. The news from Kharkov is not good.
Paul will look after himself.
17, that's all he is. It's my age when I shot down my first British aircraft.
Were you afraid, August?
Yes. I was afraid anyone would think I was afraid. I saw his face, you know. That English flyer. I think his gun's jammed. He and the observer were both killed. Saw the wreckage later. Blood on the canvas.
And now with your radar you help other young pilots.
I'm a desk-bound old man.
To me you're still a hero, protecting us. And you're the best lover I've ever had.
You don't need to lie to me.
It's true. Only wish you'd been the first.
What's past needn't concern us. Let's live for the present.
And the future.
Of course, our future will be together.
Oh, look, August, lightning. 1,000, 2,000, 3. Oh, close. Do you know how to tell how far away a storm is, August?
You can never be sure.
It is a good feeling when you have someone who fought against the enemy to save us. It's just this feeling, each one had this feeling. We knew that they defended us.
Fen operations room. The teleprinter brings confirmation of tonight's target and details of the route to be taken. Rendezvous southward, then to 51 degrees 48 minutes north, 3 degrees 50 minutes east. Target 070 degrees 650 yards from target, codename Mazia A. Turn left from target, then to Nordvik, then base. Aim to cause maximum destruction to enemy industrial center.
Take this way, Form 2, Wing Commander Munro, straight away.
Yes, ma'am.
At the briefing, all the details will be passed to the men who will fly in the aircraft. The decisions on the target, the number of aircraft to take part, and the bomb loads were made much earlier today at Bomber Command headquarters at High Wycombe.
There was a central table in this large room, and Harris would come in and sit down, and I don't get any impression that he was hurrying to his desk. He knew he was going to get there. He knew what he had to do and he went there and did it. No reluctance either.
It was at precisely 9 a.m. this morning that Commander-in-Chief Bomber Command Air Marshal Sir Arthur Harris had studied the vast array of intelligence, maps, lists of targets, and previous bombing raid photographs. As always, a small group of high-ranking RAF officers gathered around him.
Do we have the latest from Met?
Yes, sir. Here it is.
Looks like we're on for tonight, then.
Shall I ask him to report in person, sir? He's waiting outside.
If you'd be so kind, Wing Commander.
Tell the Met man we're ready.
Very good, sir.
The previous night's operations and photographs are still recorded on the giant boards on the wall. An officer alters the total on the failed-to-return tally from 24 to 23.
One of 4 groups Halifax's was trying to make a wheels-up landing at the emergency dome at Woodbridge, sir, but ended up at the new American base at Flammingham instead.
What's that make it?
4.4% losses, sir. 8th group had a good night, sir. Only 2 missing.
Yes. Mr. Fitzherbert.
Morning, sir.
Well, what can we expect tonight over the Ruhr?
These are the predicted fronts for this evening, sir. At present, thunderstorms are moving across the Rhine ahead of this cold front here, but they will clear by late this afternoon. We'll get a spit up over the target later, but we expect a thin layer of medium cloud somewhere between 1,000 and 20,000 feet. Moderate to good visibility, northeast winds, light to moderate.
Northern France?
Much the same. Well-broken cloud in the northwest.
And what's the weather going to be like over England for a return around midnight?
By then the low will be here, or thereabouts, and a chance of rain. Nothing serious. Patchy clouds somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 feet. No fog or icing.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzherbert. That'll do nicely.
Thank you, sir.
Target maps, please, Wing Commander.
Sir.
Each town targeted is marked by a color-coded reference. Industrial targets, railway centers, oil installations. Harris peers closely at the Ruhr, Duisburg, Essen, Dortmund, and Krefeld. The shortest route to each is marked, and flying times and fuel loads to each target are marked alongside.
Sir. Better than expected.
So what's available?
In total, might manage 750 heavies, 160 mediums.
Let's go for 600 heavies and 100 mediums.
Very good.
Since Churchill and Roosevelt's conference in Casablanca a few weeks before, US and British bombers were targeting Germany on a daily basis. The Americans by day, the British by night. The overall aim of the combined bombing campaign was the progressive destruction and dislocation of the German military, industrial, and economic system, and the undermining of the morale of the German people to a point where their capacity for armed resistance was fatally weakened. It was Harris's task to implement the British end of this directive.
All right, gentlemen. Our target for tonight is Krefeld. Steelworks, chemical plants, aircraft engines, and railway yards. Target files, Wing Commander.
Sir.
Krefeld primary, and Bremen as weather alternative, just in case Mr. Fitzherbert's cold front doesn't move the way he thinks.
Target files, Harry.
Yes, sir. I have them waiting, sir.
Thank you, Ashton. Well done, my girl. Guess right.
Nora Ashton, 19 years old, a WAF clerical section, smiles as she hands over the files. That morning, she had written to her boyfriend at Whalley Fen. He would never read her letter. His name is Simon Cohen, and tonight he will be navigator on Orange's last operation.
This is Krefeld, gentlemen. HR 2030. I propose to hit it here hard in 2 waves, with a 20-minute pause between them.
Second wave, HR 2120.
I know it involves more of a threat from the night fighters, Donald, but that's more than set off by the chance of catching his fire and rescue chaps off guard. It has a profoundly dispiriting effect on the population, too, if when they think it's all over, another wave starts pounding them, what? At least a third of all aircraft tonight to carry one 4,000-pounder, and as many as possible pistols fused for long delay. I also propose to increase the proportion of high explosive to incendiary by 10%.
Sir.
We need to get those roofs off, crack open their buildings, and then we can set them alight. Hopefully the forecast winds will materialize and spread the fire. Pathfinder mosquitoes, what's their availability?
14 listed. They've been out every night this week. Last night they had a few problems with the oboe set, sir.
6 should be adequate. Oboe mosquitoes have no excuse for not getting their reds right on the mark. Can we muster 6?
Should be no problem, sir.
Any questions?
He was severity concentrated and personified. He had a lot on his mind, and you could tell that. For instance, let's say they had a big raid on and everybody went out and none of the aircraft could have landed anywhere in England afterwards. Quite a possibility.
And that's it.
If there's a Met update...
I'll be back at the house from 12 onwards. PM's coming for a briefing.
Very good, sir.
Going to show him the bombing pictures and then perhaps a spot of lunch. Jolly good success last night, Mr. Hunter. Only 23 failed to return.
Still over 140 men lost.
What?
I was just saying, the men lost.
It's in the nature of war that young men die, Group Captain. I accept losses. I have to accept them, to expect them.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't mean to...
I am convinced, and so is Mr. Churchill, that we can win this war from the air. We are wiping out their munition factories, oil installations and transportation, starving them of the means to continue fighting. Remember Cologne, Mr. Hunter? A few more Colognes and it will be over. And however many young men we have to lose to achieve this end, they will not die in vain.
Yes, sir.
And if I have to flatten the whole of Germany, I will do so.
Here, well away from the dispersals, in the most northerly corner of Whalley Fen RAF station, is the bomb dump, behind huge blast walls and camouflage from the air. The bombs for tonight's raid are taken from here and winched onto low-loading trolleys. Each trolley can carry one 4,000-pound cylindrical cookie bomb, or 8 250-pound bombs, or 4 500-pounders. Whalley's 16 Lancasters will each carry one cookie, as well as a variety of other smaller-sized high-explosive and incendiary bombs. Several trolleys are linked together to make up one aircraft's bomb load and then pulled away by a tractor. This tractor driver, like many others, is a WAF. Her name is Madge Scott, and she's 18 years old. Madge's first stop with her train of bombs is the fuse hut, which is open on both sides like a large blacksmith shed. She halts with the trolleys inside. Here, the armourers insert the timers, fuses, and firing mechanisms. The delayed action timers are set here too, according to orders, anything from a few seconds to 6 days. Madge Scott skillfully brings the bomb train around a perimeter road and onto the concrete stand, circling the aircraft and steering as close to it as possible. The bomb bay doors on each aircraft stand open. The tractor is unhitched, and the armourers manhandle each trolley the last few yards till it sits under the open bomb doors. The winching up of each bomb into the dark of the bomb bay begins.
Hello there.
Sorry?
I thought it was you.
It's me, all right?
You were in the Dog and Duck Monday night, weren't you? At Battersby, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, it's you! Oh, look a bit different in your overalls.
A bit of a sweet talker, aren't you, Batters?
How are you settling in?
Well, I always say the first week's the worst. Not a bad billet, though. Is this your aircraft?
No, mine's over there. All orange.
I thought it was creaking something.
Oh, yeah, its nickname's Creaking Door.
Yeah, that's it. Never falls off, right?
Right.
the bloody tractor! Sorry, Sergeant!
You haven't seen Flight Sergeant Worthington, our chiefy, have you?
No, I haven't.
I have to find him. I'll see you later.
Is that a nickname he's painting on this one?
Yeah, the skipper's rechristening L Love Joe for King.
Joe for King?
Joe Starling. Oh, there he is now, talking to Tommy Carter.
Joe Starling?
No, Flight Sergeant Worthington. Maybe see you later.
Gotta get loaded up again.
Look,
what?
Oh, nothing.
Cheerio for now, then.
Mind how you go.
Right.
What do they call you?
Madge Scott, empty.
Hey, Battersby, what the hell are you playing at, lad? I want a word in your show like about that starboard jetty.
The Wald Hotel, SS headquarters Altgarten, about the same time. Sturmbannführer Fischer stands at the window of his room and watches the sacks and bundles being unloaded from his car.
Come! Yes?
Your food, sir, and the bottle of schnapps.
Good.
Are you part of the new elite SS division they're talking about, sir?
Oh, yes, that's right.
That's what I'd like to be posted to. Something like that. It's a backwater here in Altgarten. Nothing happens.
Do your duty today, and I'll see what I can do. What age are you?
16, Herr Sturmbannführer.
Good. Did you get me the information? This man, Voss, where he is living?
54 Florerstrasse. He has a tailoring business. It was suspected he was employing Jews. But for some reason, nothing has been done. These small
Florerstrasse. I asked directions in Florerstrasse. I know where it is.
Is he an enemy of the Reich, Herr Sturmbannführer?
No, he is a tailor. I need a new uniform. Get moving, soldier. Keep close guard on those trunks they're bringing in from the car. If anything is harmed, I'll have you hung with piano wire.
It would be tonight, under cover of darkness, SS Sturmbannführer Fischer decided that he would go to Herr Voss's house on Florerstrasse. At that moment this afternoon, however, 3 doors from Helmut Voss's house, August Bach left Anna to return to radar station Ermin.
Take care of yourself, August.
Tell Hansel he's the man of the house while I'm away. And if there is an air raid...
They won't bomb here.
Please, humour me. I have to know you'll be safe.
Herr Voss's cellar.
Yes.
I know. I love you.
No tears, please. I'll be back in 2 weeks' time.
As the car drove away from Florerstrasse, the rain stopped and a patch of clearer weather came in from the east. The sun would shine throughout Europe that winter afternoon in 1943. Even at Krunsvig, the sun made an appearance, as Oberleutnant Victor Löwenherz accompanied 2 men along the edge of the airfield.
I find this all very strange. Secret police and military intelligence working together.
I'm so pleased to meet you in person, Herr Baron Oberleutnant. I've seen you often in newsreels, and of course, your photograph in Signal, a true Reich hero.
Blessing here said something about espionage.
He did he? Unter Sturmbannführer Blessing, I told you to wait for me.
What am I accused of? Should I have a lawyer present?
A certain medical file has been stolen. Our friend Blessing here has been watching one of your men and believes it to be in his possession.
Who are you accusing, Blessing?
Has he shown it to you?
Who?
You were talking to him just a short time ago.
I've spoken to virtually all 12 pilots on my wing today. I am their Staffelkapitan.
Which of them do you think might have done it?
None of them.
Tell him, Blessing.
Unteroffizier Himmel.
Oh, Christian Himmel. Himmel has the Knight's Cross.
What does that prove? So do you.
Please, excuse Blessing, Herr Baron. You're not under suspicion. But Unteroffizier Himmel...
Do you have evidence?
Himmel had the file in his bedside locker. I found it there early this morning. He left his quarters at 9 o'clock. My people checked his locker again. It was gone. You're the only person he saw.
This is your evidence. Anyone could have planted it, including yourself, Blessing. What does Himmel say?
He doesn't know we're onto him. We wanted to see who else was in this spy ring.
I have known Christian Himmel for 3 years. He's not interested in anything but aircraft and flying. He is not political.
What were you discussing this afternoon?
Oil leaks.
Really?
I've nothing more to say. I would stake my life on his loyalty.
That is exactly what you are doing.
How did he seem, Herr Baron? Anxious, depressed, worried about anything?
They seemed his usual self.
You hesitate.
We're night fighter pilots, I'm Dr. Starkov. It is more dangerous work than snooping in people's bedside lockers. Sometimes we wonder just how long our luck will hold out.
Why?
It's natural to feel a little apprehensive from time to time. And that is how Himmel is feeling today.
We're very interested to have this file back, and of course to learn who has seen it.
Christian would not do something like this.
In that case, cooperate with us and prove his innocence.
Right, I'll be happy to. And when I do, I shall be speaking to my own contacts at the Reich Chancellery in Berlin about exactly what we pilots have to put up with from you. Blessing.
At Wally Fen, the equipping, fueling and bombing up of the 16 Lancasters has been going on all day. From the cockpit of O Orange, Sam Lambert can see that bombing up is almost completed on Tommy Carter's aircraft on the stand nearest to his. What Sam couldn't possibly know was that the first victim of the raid on Krefeld was about to die.
Anything else matters?
No, everything checked out.
Looks like our bombs are on the way.
get out of here. Can't feel like a child before the briefing.
You coming over to the naffy, Diggers?
Yeah, in a minute. The armourers are still working on Hell for Love. I can see them.
Haven't you signed up yet, Mac?
Are you going to Orange, Sarge? I'll finish up here.
No, I'll wait for you. You want help taking the safety clip off the cooker?
Oh, it's fine.
I'll do it.
Okay, it was a big bit of metal, and you treated it with respect, particularly people like armourers and that sort of thing who were loading them. I didn't give it much of a thought about what it was really going to do. You hoped it would go off, because I have read statistics somewhere and 4 out of 10 never went off. Must have gone off later. It's not, you know, like they wanted you to chalk things on the bombs, you know, which you never did. That was strictly for journalists and things like that.
You all right?
There's something on the retaining jaw of the cookie.
Now, we'll leave it, Mac. Pull the clip and don't touch a thing, mate. Let's go.
I've got to check it.
You want me to have a look?
No, it's all right, Sarge. I'll do it. Looks like it. What is it? A little nick from shrapnel or something on the jaw. Come on. Just need to... Come on, let's have a closer look. Yeah. Oh, come on, you wee thing. Right. Oh, Jack!
Oh, Rust! Get the hell away from here with that bomb train! It's gonna go!
Harry, get out there!
Get the hell out of it!
Leave him!
There's been an accident! Get help, will you? Get out of it!
Leave him!
Bloody
Get
hell.
out of there! You can't...
Get down, everybody. A cookie's just dropped out of her love's Bombay.
Looks like he's got the poor sod under it. Hell's teeth, if that goes up, we're all done for.
What happened?
God knows, didn't you hear the clay? I
felt it.
What are we going to do, Skip?
Something like this happened at my last station. Leg went up with his full load, killed 20 blokes.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe we should get away from the cockpit.
Yeah.
Not this fuselage will be much protection.
It's going to make a bit of a bang.
Don't worry, we won't hear it.
It won't go off now, Willis. I mean, if it was going to go off, it would have gone off an impact straight away.
Not if it's a delayed action fuse.
Oh, Christ. I thought they were charging
Shut up, Bassett. Sorry. Pray if you want to, but do it back there by yourself.
No, I'll stay here.
Within half an hour, the faulty release jaw was replaced, and the cookie, which was not harmed, was winched back into place. The setting of its timer had been Armourer Ian MacDonald's last job. His crushed corpse was removed to the mortuary. In less than an hour after the accident, Hell for Love was pronounced bombed up and ready to go. The pilot, Tommy Carter, when he heard about it, felt that the accident was an omen of bad luck, but he never said anything. Madge Scott, the tractor driver, insisted she finish her shift. And during the briefing, she drove the bomb train back to O for Orange, where its deadly load was winched into the bomb bay.
And also, we lost some of our own ground crew. One of our number was killed underneath an undercarriage of a Lancaster, and there was a wrong connection. I just saw this thing go down on its knees, just like a camel, heading down, and this chap was just throttled. He just couldn't do it.
My dear August.
Gert Burl, meanwhile, was in Altgarten writing a letter.
This letter will cause you. I have to write it, and must let you know the truth about Anna Louisa. This Anna Louisa you are now talking of marrying. Rather than seeing you make a fool of yourself, I must risk losing your friendship. It is my duty as your cousin to tell you she is far from being the innocent she seems. I am sure that if you had not been so infatuated, you would have seen this for yourself. But today, I see it is up to me.
Gert will struggle over this letter, correcting and altering it for the next hour before posting it at 5 p.m. at Altgarten's main post office in Kaiser Wilhelmstrasse. August will never receive it.
Well, Hansel, I'm glad we no longer live in Crayford. I think this is a very nice town.
Anna Louisa brings Hansel back from the railway station after a visit to a friend's house in Crayford, 7 miles away. It is now just before 3:30 p.m.
I like the city better.
What? Better than all the lovely countryside around Altgarten?
Why did Daddy leave before I got back?
They sent a car and he had to go.
I wanted to see him.
He'll be back in 2 weeks.
Could we stop at the fire station?
I don't know.
Please, Anna Louisa.
I want to get home.
Why can't we live in Crayfield?
Because it's not safe there.
They have bomb shelters. Let me look at the fire engine, Anna, please, just for a minute.
Good afternoon, young Hansel. Fräulein?
Johannes Ilfer, Chief Fire Commander at Altgarten, 20 years old.
He wants to have a look at the fire engine.
Of course you do. Sure thing, have a look round.
Don't get in the way of the fireman. Is it all right?
Of course, Fräulein. Go on, young one, have a look round. I was going to have some coffee.
No, not today, thank you.
So, do you still want to be a fireman when you grow up, Hansel? I don't recommend it, not in wartime. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Come into the office. Look after the young fellow, lads, will you?
No. His father went back to his unit today. Come on, Hansel.
Well, we must all do our duty. Perhaps I'd better call round tonight when the young fellow's in bed and check your fire precautions.
You're very good at putting out fires, but not much good at lighting them, if you take my meaning. I hear you're chief now.
Promotion comes quickly in wartime, like death. Let me see you tonight, Anna.
August has asked me to marry him.
Oh?
I've said yes.
He'll never marry you, Anna Louisa. Ah, Hansel, have a look at these pictures. British bombers, look. Lancaster, Stirling, Wellington. Don't worry, the Luftwaffe can shoot them all down.
We should be going, Hansel.
Know what this is? A 30-pound phosphorus bomb. And this is a 4-pound incendiary stick.
My father had told us about the air raid in Düsseldorf, and he knew that there were phosphorus bombs, and these bombs could not be extinguished since the phosphorus spread. It was impossible to do it, and therefore we were very afraid.
Just like that. Ah! This one, we found this in the rubble of a bombed-out house in Krefeld. It's a 500-pound general-purpose bomb. It's been fixed, don't worry. You can tell by its colour. Women, too, come in different colours. You've heard of scarlet women, Hansel?
That's enough for today.
Oh, what's the matter?
Bombs aren't a joking matter. We used to live in Krefeld. Come on, Hansel.
My mummy was killed by a bomb. She's in heaven.
Well, come on in, Flight Lieutenant Sweet.
Station Commander's office, Wally Fen.
Sit yourself down.
Thank you, sir.
Cigarette?
Don't mind if I do, thank you.
So, how are you enjoying being a flight commander,
Well, I must say I'd no idea how much paperwork it took to get a kite in the air.
Well, now you know where the war's really fought, eh? Saturation bombing of airfields by Air Ministry bump, and all in blasted triplicate.
Dash nuisance, especially when all a chap wants is to get out and kill Huns.
That's it, Sweet. That's what we're here to do. Now,
I want your advice, sir.
Oh, fire away.
About one of my chaps, Lambert.
Lambert? Yes, I know him.
NCO.
Yeah, brought back that Halifax on 2 engines.
Damn good pilot, once. But lately...
Oh, go on, Sweet.
He's acting rather strangely.
Oh, spit it out, man.
I've just been discussing crewing with him, and the Dash chap accused me of taking his best men and trying to get him killed.
Well, the men don't like crew changes. They get to depend on each other.
Well, I know that, sir. I wouldn't do it lightly, but this is a tactical move designed to improve our hit rate.
Good show. Lambert. Yes. His navigator was shot up over Essen. What was that young man's name?
The thing is, sir,
Briggs.
I think he might have a touch of the jitters.
Oh?
It's not just him I'm concerned about. What's the effect on the other chaps in his crew? He has a damn good navigator, a public school chap, Cohen, Gregson's replacement, and a pretty smart bomb aimer. They're wasted with a pilot who's lost his nerve.
Think he might have?
I've heard a lot of defeatist stuff from him lately. Not good for young chaps like Fleming to have to listen to that. And then there's the business of his wife.
What about his wife?
Well, it turns out she's on the base in safety.
Oh, can't be. Against regulations.
They married last year without informing Records Office.
And they're living together on the base?
A rented cottage in the village.
Safety section. Name?
She's a frightfully decent girl, actually. I was at Winchester with her brother.
Her name, Sweet. I assume she's not known as Mrs. Lambert.
Corporal Ruth Taylor.
Oh, sometimes I think there are too many blasted NCOs in officers' jobs. I mean, that's the whole problem with the RAF these days. Look at us here at Wally.
12 pilots and 6 navigators who were officers, and all the rest ragtag and bobtails. Not enough of the public school chaps to go round.
I just thought you ought to know.
Yeah, well, I've always felt a chap who loses his nerve should be put onto something he can handle.
I couldn't agree more.
Leave it with me.
There was an Air Ministry order, and a very, in my view, an extremely cruel Air Ministry order that said anyone that refuses to do what he enlisted to do, in the main, ended up as AC-1s or LACs, whatever they were. Terrible in my view.
Oh, by the way, sir, have you heard about this experiment I'm trying with the rear turret on Lambert's aircraft?
No.
Well, the idea came to me the other morning when I opened the window to see better.
As Sweet left the group commander's office, an RAF Spitfire, a Met observation aircraft, passed high over Altgarten. The trip from England to the Ruhr and back at 420 miles per hour took just 92 minutes. The pilot scribbled the position of the cold front onto the notepad strapped to his thigh. His report would be used at the briefing. It would forecast clearest skies above the target, patchy cloud, and very little wind. To young Hanselbach, looking out of a window in his father's house in Florerstrasse, the aircraft was a dot high above him.
Look, Anna, it's a Messerschmitt.
I can't tell one aircraft from another.
It's gonna kill the terror bombers.
That's enough.
Can the pilot see heaven, Anna?
No, it's much too high.
But Mummy looks down and sees me.
At Brunswick Luftwaffe night fighter station, Oberleutnant Löwenherz straps into the radar operator's seat behind Unteroffizier Christian Himmel in his Junkers 88.
Did Peter ask you to take his place for the test, Victor?
No, Christian. I ordered him to stand down. I wanted an opportunity for a private talk.
Oh, right. I see. There's the signal. Clear to take off.
The Junkers lifted at the end of the runway and climbed steeply over the black waters of the IJsselmeer. Meanwhile, 50 miles south of The Hague on the Dutch North Sea coast, huge Freyr and Würzburg radar dishes look out to sea. 200 yards from the water's edge is a group of huts joined by boardwalks. This is Radar Station Ermin. Its commander, Oberleutnant August Bach.
So you had a good evening, sir?
Unteroffizier Willy Reinecker, 46. August Bach, senior NCO at Ermin.
It's warmed up.
Thank you, Willie.
Reasonable journey from Crefeld?
Altgarten.
Oh, yes, of course, sir. You moved, didn't you? I know Altgarten, been through it a few times. Medieval town centre, famous old church.
Liebfrau Kirk. The stove's nice and warm. It's freezing out there.
Mug of hot chocolate, sir?
Oh, you think of everything, Willie. You join me?
Oh, right.
We'll have a drop of brandy with it.
What news from home? Your boy Hansel, how is he?
It's growing too fast. Oh, thanks. Here's to, destruction of the Tommies.
Any word of Paul?
You heard the bad news from Kharkov? They say it's a tactical withdrawal, but reading between the lines... no, I've heard nothing.
Well, there'll be something one of these days.
Between you and me, really, I'm worried. When you're young, you take such risks.
We both did, certainly.
I was just telling somebody today, Paul is almost exactly the age I was when I shot down my first English pilot.
There you are.
I hope to God this is all over before Hansel reaches an age to get involved.
Me too, sir.
Right, charge reports.
Nothing too serious, sir. Young Roy Barker and his mate Danziger were arrested drunk in town. The other 3 are conduct prejudicial.
Right.
2 more of our bicycles have been nicked.
When was this?
Last night, sir. The Dutch civilian police have been informed. Those bike thieves must be trembling in their clogs, I don't think. This is the latest intelligence report. Looks like they're planning something big tonight.
We'll see soon enough. Willie, I've some good news to tell you.
Oh, I thought I saw lightness in your step.
Yes. I'm getting married again.
Who's the lucky woman?
Anna Louisa, of course.
Your rad girl?
Well, yes, she came to us as a rad girl, really, but she was always more than that. Even before Lena was killed, she was special to us. She's less than half my age, but this afternoon I told her how I felt, and, well, she feels the same way.
Well, congratulations, Sam.
Thank you.
I don't believe it, Sam.
The Naffy, Wally Fenn, Digby and Sam Lambert.
Me neither, but it's true. Well, he's not going to get away with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Skip, it's not the idea of leaving you. It's the thought of flying with Sweet, Skipper.
Thanks, Digby. Well, we might all be dead before tomorrow. Where are you going?
To sort it out.
Leave it. Tell me we were at the briefing.
The time I got a bit worried was when I walked in the briefing room and they showed you where that red ribbon was. You think, God, I didn't want to go there.
Of our own accord.
Gentlemen! Station Commander!
You think the old groupie was going into bat for England, Skip?
Probably thinks he is.
Okay, chaps, sit down and light on.
Sorry I'm late, Skip.
Mr. Thingbatters, you feeling better?
Just a touch of the runs. I'll be fine.
Don't come if you're going to want to sit on the carsy all night.
Something I hate, Skip. I'm all right now.
Good lad.
Oh, no, not the old fake routine. I think groupie fancied himself as Bobo. More like his brother. I didn't know Bobo, but a brother? No hope. Oh, yeah.
Appalling.
Now, the target for tonight is Creflo in the room.
Oh, Happy Valley.
Rua Valley.
No wonder you've had an attack of the Rams
Happy
batters.
landings, everyone.
You know. We'll be part of the first wave and supporting 8-group Pathfinder force. Let's put on a damn good show. Take off 17:45, 0 hour 20:30. We're due at 0 +1. Captain Ludlow?
Group Captain Ludlow, 27. Navigation leader, 38 trips.
Assembly point at the south pole, 12 to 15,000 feet. Get up to 18,000 feet before you get to my yellow marker here on the Dutch coast. Then turn towards the target. Any questions? Good. Keep together. If you get out of the stream, use your G to get back on track. That's what it's for, and it'll work a fair way towards Happy Valley.
Yeah.
We weren't airmen going out to bomb German towns. We were schoolboys going out to raid a rival school. It was this sort of feeling that was abroad. It was unreal.
Now, there will be over 700 plus bombers over Krakow this evening, chaps. So keep your positions and heights, and for God's sake, no crossing the bomber stream. That's how collisions happen. Then turn off the target, gain speed by losing height. But don't go below 8,000 feet as you pass north on the way back. The route is plotted to avoid the flag concentrations at Rotterdam on the way out and off Amsterdam on the way back. Any questions?
Sir?
Mr. Sweet?
Any chance of avoiding flak over the target?
The men chaps seem pretty sure it'll be cloudy over Crayfeld, which will make their searchlights less effective. Does that answer your
Won't affect the radar-controlled attack, though, will it?
Got all that, Cohen?
No problem, Skip.
Fear of being thought fearful was greater than the actual fear of going on a bombing raid.
10,000 feet over the North Sea, Christian Himmel brings the Junkers 88 level.
Pilot to radio operator.
Yes, Himmel?
Feel under your seat.
What?
Under your seat, I've left something for you.
Luftwaffe High Command Medical Corps. Secret. Why have you got this?
Have a look through it.
Freezing experiments on human beings.
They've been killing prisoners in concentration camps, freezing them to death.
Where did you get this?
Have a look at it, Leeuwenhoeks.
You don't think I want to?
Did you think this was what we're fighting for?
It's not our business, Himmel.
It is. These sadistic pigs are doing it in our name. It says Luftwaffe on the cover, see?
What are you going to do with it?
Let people know what's going on.
What people? The British.
Our own people. We Germans aren't barbarians. Read it, Victor. We can talk freely. I've turned the wireless off. When I saw it on Third's desk, saw the photographs...
You stole this from the medical centre.
That's that. One of our own flagships.
They fired anything in the sky, idiots.
You all right?
What?
Now just flick through it, look at the photographs, then you'll understand why I took it.
I wish you hadn't.
What can I do? Turn the other way? Concentration camps, exterminating people in medical experiments? Don't know a thing about it. I can't do it. Damn conscripts. Don't worry. We're out of range. That would be the biggest joke. Surviving all this time to get shot by your own side.
Yes.